So now let's proceed to the visual display or the mapping thematic approach. So what is a thematic mapping? So thematic maps are designed to visualize spatial patterns of specific themes or topics in a geographic area. So unlike general reference maps that show a variety of features, thematic maps concentrate on one particular subject, such as population, density, income levels, climate patterns, or disease distribution. So this approach helps in understanding and analyzing the spatial distribution of the chosen theme. So this map uses various visual techniques such as color gradients, symbols, and charts to represent the data associated with the theme. For example, a map showing population density might use darker shades of color to indicate areas with higher population concentration. So thematic maps are a powerful tool for communicating complex information and enabling informed decision making in various fields. So how effective it is. So the effectiveness of a thematic map lies in its ability to simplify and highlight the spatial relationship within the data, making it easier to identify trends, cluster, and disparities, whether it's mapping crime rates, election results, or environmental pollution. Thematic maps provide valuable insight into the geographic dimensions of the issue at hand. As a result, they are widely used in urban planning, public health, environmental science, and many other disciplines. So, what is a scale? How about the scale? So, a map scale is the ratio between the distance on a map and the corresponding distance on the ground. So, it indicates how much the real world has been reduced to fit onto the map. So the scale is typically expressed in three ways, as representative fraction, a verbal scale, or even a graphic scale, or also called a bar line representing a specific distance. So the choice of scale significantly affects the level of detail and extent of the area that can be displayed in a map. Large-scale maps show smaller areas within a high level of detail, making them suitable for urban planning and engineering publics. So the small-scale maps cover larger regions with less detail, making them useful for regional planning and navigation. So understanding map scale is crucial for interpreting and using maps accurately. It determines the level of generalization and the types of features that can be represented. A map scale influences the analysis and decisions made based on the information it presents, ensuring that users are aware of the limitations and potential distortions inherent in representing the Earth's surface on a flat plane.
So, crime mapping is a term that has been used to refer to research analysis using GIS in a law enforcement setting. The term crime analysis mapping is used to describe this process because using GIS to analyze crime is not just the act of placing incidents on a map but also of analysis. So, crime analysis mapping refers to the use of GIS or the Geographic Information Systems to study and understand crime patterns within a specific area. So just like what I have said earlier sa ako ang niagi nga report, kaning kaning nga mapa para ani using sa ilang mas madali man karon nga pagamaan ng crime mapping kay with use of technology kaysa sa una. So parehaan ni na sila gibutang kaning nasa pinakakilid sa ubos mo ni siya ang legend. So kaning naay pula is assault and blue kay burglary, then the next one is disturbing the peace and drug violation, homicide, robbery, and theft. So bali ilang gibutang dira sa ilang mapa og asa na nga hitabo nga kani nga crime. Kay ang pamaagi ani is makatabang ni sila nga malocate nila ang next bitaw nga target sa mga criminals or kanang para mas ma-prevent nila ang crime nga mahitabo. So, through GIS, analysts can identify crime hotspot, predict areas at risk, and evaluate the effectiveness of police strategies of crime prevention program. So, bali ang crime analysis mapping combines technology and analytical thinking to transform raw crimes data into meaningful insights that help law enforcement make informed decisions and improve community safety.
Introduction to problem solving. Definition of terms number one. Problem solving approach refers to a methodical process for reducing the impact of crime and disorder problems in a community. So, problem solving approach is a step by step method used to understand and reduce crime and disorder. It focuses on identifying specific community problems and developing long term solutions rather than just reacting to crime after they happen. So ang problem solving approach, it is a kuan mura bitag step by step unsaon nila pag solve sa usa ka problem sa isa ka community. Dili lang kay puro plano kundi naapoy buhat or action. So the SARA model, scanning, analysis, response, and an assessment, is a widely used problem-solving approach in policing. So sa koan, ang sa policing, ang SARA model mo'y koan problem-solving approach nga ilang gamit or mas bagay diha nga koan um, problem solving. So number one, scanning. The first step involves identifying recurring or related problems by reviewing crime data and community information. It helps determine which issues need deeper investigation, such as pattern to thefts or burglaries in certain areas. So, ang scanning is to identify the problem using crime reports, calls from residents, or community feedback. So, ang scanning, diri ka i-scan mo kung unsay problema sa usa ka community. For example, diri nga lugar is, ang problema diri is kaan mga rape, homicide, or unsa ba niya ang mga crimes nga kinahanglan jud na ay solution. So number two, analysis. This phase examine the root cause of the problem, understanding why it happens, who is involved, where and when it occurs, and how it manifests. Multiple information sources are used to accurate insight. So sa analysis, diha nimo analyzeon og kuan nganon nahitabo ni siya nga crime o kinsay mga involved, kinsay posibleng suspect or victims og asa og kanus-an ni siya nahitabo. So diri nimo mahibaw-an kung unsay motibo nila nganong gihimo ni nga crime. So number 3, response. Based on the analysis, customized action are developed to address the problem effectively. Example include redesigning public spaces, forming community advisory boards, or creating diversion programs for youth offenders. So respond is implement an action plan to fix or reduce the problem. So, for example, working with other community members, government agencies, or private organization. So, ang response is murag makig-coordinate bitaw ka sa laing agencies para mas mapadali ang pag problem solving diha nga community. So like mag-install kag lightning and CCTV, increase patrols, or post warning sign. So if ug unsa ang murag daghan nga high rate sa crime, diha pud ka like for example mo install kag CCTV sa mga dagkong tindahan kay posible jud na siya nga naay mo kuan ana mo lungkab or mo unsa ba then sa mga kuan pod mga ngit-ngit nga dapit kinahanglan pud nimo install og mga naay mga daghang lights aron makita or ma-reduce ang mga crimes. So number 4, assessment. The final step measure how effective the responses were in reducing or solving the problem. It involves comparing data before and after intervention. So this phase can be difficult due to the time and effort required to gather meaningful results. So assessment to measure whether the responses actually work, compare before and after, so if not they adjust their strategies and try again. So sa assessment di mo mahibaw-an if kuan effective ba imo ang imong response. If dili imo siyang i-adjust or mubuhat ra gyapon kag utro para ma-reduce jud ang crime.
Crime analysis and problem solving. Crime analysis and mapping play a vital role in the SARA: scanning, analysis, response, and assessment. Problem solving method by identifying crime patterns, determining when and where offenses occur most frequently, guiding the efficient allocation of police resources, and ensuring proper data management within law enforcement agencies to enhance decision-making and crime prevention strategies. This means that through the SARA model, crime analysis help police identify problems, study their causes, plan effective actions, and evaluate the results. By using data and mapping, they can better understand crime trends, allocate resources wisely, and develop informed strategies to prevent and reduce crime. Next is data management. Metadata. Metadata in data management requires organized, consistent, and well-documented crime analysis procedures to maintain accuracy, efficiency, and reliability in law enforcement data handling. Metadata means data about data. It helps describe and record how crime information is collected, processed, and shared. By writing down these procedures, police departments can ensure consistency, avoid errors, and make it easier for new analysts to learn the process. Proper metadata management improves organization, prevents duplication, and supports accurate crime analysis and reporting. The next is geocoding. Geocoding is the process of bringing tabular and geographic data together based on common geographic unit of analysis. Geocoding is the process of connecting crime data, such as address or incident locations, to a map. It links information from tables like crime reports with geographic locations like streets, zip codes, or districts. This helps law enforcement visualize where crimes occur, identify hotspots, and make better decisions about patrol deployment and crime prevention strategies. Next is a geographic unit of analysis. It refers to a special characteristic within the data that is necessary to locate it on a map, such as an address, zip code, bit, or grid. A geographic unit of analysis is the specific area or location used to organize and study crime data on a map. It can be an address, zip code, police beat, or grid. This helps analysts pinpoint where crimes happen, compare different areas, and identify crime patterns or hotspots for better planning and law enforcement response.
Good day everyone, I am Cedric Sigapul and today I am going to discuss to you the tabular data and the geographic data as part of the data management. So, what is tabular data? Tabular data consists of lists of records with geographic variables. Examples of these are calls for service, crime reports, accidents, citations, and arrests. So, it includes details about the incidents, the type of crime, the date of crime, and the time of the crime, plus location data, which includes address, grid, and beat. So, first of all, what is beat? So, beat is the territory that the police is assigned to patrol. So, take note of that. Beat is a territory that the police is assigned to patrol. So, tabular data is the location information that enables geocoding for spatial analysis. So, take a look of the example below. So, incident ID, you can see it's 001, the date of the crime, 2025 10/8, the time of the crime 14:35, and what type of incident or crime. It is burglary. Address is the 123 Main Street, and then what is the status? It is closed. So that is all about the tabular data. It's very self-explanatory and easy to understand. So next is the geographic data. So what is geographic data? Geographic data is a data that can be displayed on maps such as streets, census tracts, parcels, and buildings. Law enforcement's examples are the police districts, beats, and grid boundaries. So we already know what is a beat is. What is beat is. So it is used as a reference data in geocoding process. So for us not to get confused, geodata shows us the boundaries of each district and beat, which will provide officers a quick reference of their assigned area. So when you look at the example, we can see the black lines represents the divisions, the green lines represents the sectors, and the red line represents the beats where the public officers are assigned to patrol. So the purpose of geocoding is to assign the tabular data to a location in the Earth's surface to visualize the spatial characteristics of the data. It is analogous to placing a pin on a map in the appropriate location. Unlike the paper map, when geocoding in a geographic information system, data associated with the pin or data point are available. So the tabular data and the geographic data, these two can be merged to create a better informative map. So the geographic data provides the sectors, the divisions, and the bits, and the tabular data can be put into the geographic data for more informative maps. So that is all for the geographic data.
So now we will continue with general data integrity issues. Now, number one, we have data entry. In law enforcement, data entry errors often occur because officers and clerks may not realize how others use the information they input. Accuracy can be improved through proper training, address cleaning software, and awareness of the data's importance. So, diri jud kasagaran, diri sa number one, diri palaging number one pangilaman sa data entry, naa na jud oy mga issues nga mahitabo. Now, for an example, a police officer records burglary as theft in the systems because they were rushed and didn't select the correct crime type from the drop-down menu. This changes how crime statistics are counted for both categories. For example, as we have burglary, ma-record siya as theft because gidali siya. Ay kinani. Kinani ang mga scenarios nga kasagaran nga naa jud sayop nga mahitabo, although maayo ang tawo nga nag-record tungod sa time limited lang, like dali lang sila para mahuman lang yun, mao mahitabo nga naa jud oy mga masayop. Now we have timeliness. Crime analysis requires current and quickly available data, but human and technical delays often causes problem. Emphasizing the importance of timely data across the department helps develop solutions to improve data availability. Now, second, general data integrity issue. Now, crime analysis requires current and quickly available data. Dapat update ka sa pag-update nimo sa imong data para mahatagan dayon siya og solutions. Like nakabutan diri sa second paragraph, emphasizing the importance of timely data across the department helps develop solutions to improve data availability. Now, for an example, a crime analyst needs data on recent vehicle thefts to identify a pattern, but the data from the past week isn't uploaded until Friday, making it impossible to issue timely alert to officers earlier in the week. So, base sa atong example, imbis nga ang crime analysis gakinahanglan siya data or para ma-identify ang pattern sa theft sa pagkawat niya sa mga vehicle. But the data from the past week isn't uploaded until Friday. Wala dayon siya na-upload. Like so, imbis nga makagama dayon siya decision para makagamag solution para anang butanga, wala na laman. Kaya naulahin naman kayo siya. It is, kuha naman kayo siya, impossible to issue a timely alert naman. Kay, wala na, naulahin na kaayo. Mga itong kinahanglan jutang na ay timeliness. And, we have data validity. Validity ensures that data accurately represents what they are meant to measure. Errors such as mislabeling calls for service, for example, robbery or theft, na himo na mong gana ko siyang example ganina diha sa data entry, so it can make misleading and affect crime analysis accuracy. So, example jud ana is robbery versus theft. Kay, although robbery and theft pareha silang kawat, robbery, we have elements nga nakalahi yun sa theft. Now, sa robbery, we have force and intimidation. And sa theft, wala lang yun kabalo ang tao nga gikawatan na dahil siya. So, kaya nakagama mo kog lahing example sa data entry na gamit man ako ang robbery versus theft. Magama tag lahing example which is an incident report mistakenly lists a crime location as 123 Main Street instead of 321 Main Street. This error means that any analysis based on location like mapping crime hotspots will be inaccurate for that specific incident. So, imbes nga ang lugar nga imuhang i-record unta nga dito nahitabo ang crime is 123 Main Street. Now, nasayip na noon siya nga nahimo siyang 321 Main Street. So, diha pa lang daan, lahi na ang lugar nga gibutang dito sa data. Meaning, wala na, lahi na ang flow sa data, lahi na, dili na siya masumpay-sumpay, dili na siya ma-pattern, dili na siya dili na siya ma-sakto, tunong, kung asa dyan dapat ipatunong ang data nga gigamit. And next is we have reliability. Now, reliability means data should produce consistent results over time. Changes in laws or policies like mandatory arrest can alter data patterns, making them unreliable for comparison. Now, an example of this is a police department implements a new policy that requires officers to make an arrest for every domestic violence call, regardless of the situation. This change in policy could inflate arrest numbers for domestic violence compared to previous years, making it unreliable to compare current and past record trends. Like for example, sa una, dili ka pwede nga naka-base dire, sa una, dili ka pwede mo arrest for every domestic violence call. So, now, karon gi-require na ka nga mo mag-arrest for every domestic violence call nga imong madawat regardless sa situation. Now, basta yun we have nowhere to compare naman. Sa yun pa lang nga data nga nagalahi-lahi, it is unreliable to compare current and past trends because lahi na siya, na-change na ang laws, lahi na ang policies, mandatory arrests, nga maka-alter naman siya already sa data pattern, so dili na siya angay i-compare sa una ug karon. Now, data transfer process. When transferring data between systems, information can be lost or reformatted, affecting quality. Compatibility issues between different data formats in police systems often make this process difficult and time-consuming. Now, when transferring data systems, so let's continue with the data transfer process. When transferring data between systems, information can be lost or reformatted, affecting quality. Compatibility issues between data formats in police systems often make this process difficult and time-consuming. Now, during transferring sa data between systems, there are times nga ang information or ang data nga kaya pag-transfer is can be lost or reformatted, affecting the quality. Now, for example, when transferring crime data from a local police department systems to a national crime database, some fields like victims, age, or specific weapons used are lost or improperly formatted because the two systems use different data standards. So, based pa lang dito sa explain sa example, pagbutang pa lang daan sa victim's age or specific weapons used kay nawala siya or improperly formatted or kanang nawala gid siya, it already affected ang pag transfer sa data, making the process of the police systems like difficult and time consuming. Mas madugay na noon siya tungod kay pagbalhin sa data na usab man or nawala man ang victim's age or ang weapons used nga gigamit dito sa crime, like nawala na. Dili na nimo siya masumpay-sumpay kay nawala naman noon ang data nga ang importante kaayo. Bisag dili importante, bisag mga mga minor ra nga datas, pero sa link gihapon siya anang data nga nawala, wala ra gihapon, dili ra gihapon siya ma-continue. So next is we have data confidentiality or privacy. Crime analysts must protect sensitive information and follow privacy policies when handling law enforcement data. With new technologies like online mapping, police departments need updated and detailed confidentiality policies. Now, we have an example of this is a crime analyst accidentally includes the full name and addresses of victims in a public-facing crime map or report, violating privacy rules and potentially endangering individual. Whenever nga naatay sensitive information nga makuha diha sa tawo, we have to make sure that we keep it in secret. We have to respect their confidentiality. It's because we have kanang namang ubang tawo nga ganahan nga example gapungot anang tawha, like gapungot anang tawha kay nganong hingpatay siya tawo, so wata kabalo sa whole story. Now we kanang ma-exploit nato ang name, ang full names, ang address sa tawo. It might endanger their lives. We are violating their privacy rules and potentially endangering individuals. Meaning, imbis nga ikaw mag-uphold ka sa confidentiality, natug-an na noon nimo ang full name sa tawo, ang address sa Sagapuyo, edi ang mahitabuan na endanger na ka sa usa ka tawo. So we have to respect their privacy para fair play ta. So we are upholding we have justice, dapat fair ang tanan.
Geocoding process. Geocoding is a process of matching address and or location data to specific places on map. In general, there are 5 basic steps in geocoding process. There are: prepare the geographic and tabular files for geocoding. Then you get both the geographic files or maps or location data and tabular files like a list of addresses. Be ready. Number 2, specify the geocoding parameters. So set parameters. Decide how the computer should match addresses to map location. Number 3, geocode or run the geocode. The system automatically finds and marks addresses on the map. Number 4, review results. Check results. Review the matches to make sure that they are correct. And number 5, if necessary, re-specify parameters and geocode again. Adjust and retry if needed. If some addresses didn't match, change the settings and run the process again.
So this is the single symbol mapping. So single symbol mapping uses individual symbols to represent geographic features like points, lines, or polygons. It's useful for analyzing small data sets and mapping discrete locations. So for example, the schools, churches, care must be taken to avoid clutter for better map readability. So, atong makita dyan sa picture, the example of single symbol mapping.
Good day again, everyone. I am going to discuss the graduated mapping. So, what is graduated mapping? Graduated mapping consists of aggregating data into groupings that are displayed on the map. These groupings can be graduated by size or by color and can be classified statistically in various of ways. So, in simple words, graduated mapping uses different sizes or colors on a map to show how quantities or status of a variable varies on the different locations on a map. So, if you look at the example, it uses a circular pattern as its size and a violet as its colors to show the graduated or the aggregating data. It is the 2015 city populations. If you look at the New York City, it is one of the most biggest in size, which has roughly 14,796 population to 36,000. So it shows that New York City has the most quantity of populations. If you look at the Philadelphia, it is much smaller with smaller populations. So that's how graduated mapping works. It shows the quantity or the status of a variable on a map. So this graduated mapping is very important in law enforcement, as it will give police officers a quick reference or a quick idea of how severe a crime is on a certain location. So that's all for graduated mapping.
Graduation by size. Graduated size mapping summarizes data realizing point or line symbols to show frequency, with larger symbols representing more incidents. However, symbol sizes can be hard to distinguish and exact values aren't shown. It works best with smaller data sets, as too many incidents clutter the map. Graduated size mapping is a visual data representation method used to illustrate the frequency or intensity of incidents across geographic areas by adjusting the size of symbols like pointing or lines on a map. Larger symbols are employed to signify higher numbers or occurrence, making it easier for viewers to identify hotspots or regions with greater activity. This technique is particularly useful in crime analysis, health data mapping, and resource allocation, where understanding the relative magnitude of data points is crucial for decision making. The primary advantage of graduated size mapping is its ability to convey complex data in an intuitive and immediate visual format. Viewers can quickly spot patterns, clusters, and outliers without needing to interpret numerical values directly. For example, a larger circle on a crime map could represent a neighborhood with a high number of incidents, prompting law enforcement to allocate more resources to that area. This form of visualization simplifies large data sets, making them accessible and actionable for analysts and decision makers alike. However, the method does have limitations. One challenge is that differences in symbol sizes are often subtle, especially when values are close, making it difficult for viewers to accurately judge differences between incidents. Small variations may not be visually obvious, leading to potential misinterpretations. Moreover, since exact numeric values are not displayed, only relative sizes, it's impossible to determine precise figures just by looking at the map, requiring analysts to refer to supplementary data sources for accuracy. Graduated size mapping tends to work best with smaller data sets because an excess of symbols can clutter the map and diminish clarity. When too many points or lines are displayed, overlapping symbols can make it difficult to discern individual sizes, leading to visual confusion. In such cases, the map may appear crowded by meaningful differences obscured, ultimately defeating the purpose of this visualization technique. Therefore, it's important to select a dataset size that balances detail with readability to maximize the effectiveness of graduated size map.
Graduation by color. In graduated color mapping, symbols like point, line, or polygon features are altered in color to reflect a particular value of the feature. Features can be graduated by any variable. Law enforcement variables include shading by date or time, by priority, by crime type, by several crimes at a location or in an area, or by crime rate of an area. Each category or unique value is different color. Graduation by color is a mapping technique used in crime analysis where different colors represent different data, values, or categories. For example, areas with higher crime rates may appear in darker colors, while lower crime rates are lighter. This visual method helps law enforcement easily see patterns such as crime hotspots, frequency, or types of crimes, allowing them to make quicker and more informed decisions in planning and resource allocation.
Okay, crime analysis, product, format, and dissemination. The effectiveness of any crime analysis or mapping endeavor has as much to do with the presentation of the result as it does the analysis. If the resulting documents of analysis is not legible and understandable to its audience, it is worthless. So, crime analysis product, format, and dissemination. The useful of crime analysis depends on how well the findings are presented and shared. Poorly designed reports can make accurate data ineffective. Factors to consider when developing a final product. First, methods of dissemination. In methods of dissemination, how reports are shared, printed reports, emails, online dashboards, and briefings. So, second, or number two, components of crime analysis products. So, components of crime analysis products like title, introduction, summary, tables, graphs, and maps with legends, north arrows, and skill bars. Number three, types of crime analysis products. So, this includes regular reports, annual summaries, research analysis, and special reports. Number four, included also the recommendation for elements of a crime analysis products and elements of these are distinguished from one another since maps includes additional elements such as map, a legend, north arrow, and scale.
So, factors to consider when developing a crime analysis product. So the first one is the purpose of the product. Crime analysis product can serve many purposes, from informing citizens about the recent maps of a town that depict reported crime are useful for providing general information to the public about changes in hotspot of reported crime. However, a detailed map of each hotspot location may be necessary. So when developing crime analysis product, one important factor is to consider the purpose of the product. This means understanding why the analysis or map is being created and who will use it. Different origins require different types of information. Kay lahi-lahi batag perception sa lahi-lahi nga butang. So bali mas maayo og napod oy kuan kanang different types of information para mas masabtan sa tanan. So for example, a simple crime map showing general areas of reported crime may be useful for informing the public about overall safety and trends in their community. However, law enforcement officials may need a more detailed and technical map that highlights specific hotspot locations, crime types, or times of occurrence to help plan patrol or investigation. So it is clearly defining the purpose ensures that the crime analysis product is appropriate, accurate, and effective for its intended users. So the next one is the audience of the product. So the audiences here includes police department personnel, the general public, community groups, business groups, school officials, or the city council members. So by products that are appropriate for each group can be developed in general when producing a crime analysis product. The needs of users of the information need to be balanced with political, legal, and ethical concerns. So that's the end of my report, and thank you.
Methods of dissemination. Methods of disseminating a product depend on the purpose, audience, and available means, including digital platforms and physical media. Analysts must evaluate the efficiency and effectiveness of dissemination methods, noting that simpler options may not always yield the best outcomes. So, it emphasizes the importance of choosing the right methods for disseminating information based on the audience, purpose, and available resources. It suggests that while there may be simple ways to share information like sending an email or putting flyers, these methods are not always the most effective for ensuring that the intended message is received and understood. It also highlights the role of the analyst in this process, suggesting that they must carefully consider the specific circumstances within their department when deciding how to share information. This means that evaluating factors like the urgency of the information, the preferences of the audience, and the tools at hand like digital versus print media. Ultimately, effective communications goes beyond ease of use. It requires thoughtful selection of methods to ensure that the information impacts the audience as intended. Continuous attention to the appropriateness and effectiveness of these methods is crucial for successful dissemination. So I already read the effectiveness of information dissemination is contingent on the specific circumstances within the department, necessitating ongoing assessment by the analyst of what methods are most appropriate and impactful.
Components of crime analysis products. A crime analysis product combines different types of analytical outputs such as tables, charts, graphs, maps, images, and written narratives. In law enforcement, using a mix of this component creates a clearer and more effective report. Relying on only one type of output, like a written essay, is less useful than combining visuals and data. For instance, describing a Bulgari pattern along with tables, charts, and maps provide a more complete understanding of the crime activity. So the crime analysis products report or presentation that uses tools like tables, charts, graph, maps, images, and narrative to show crime patterns clearly. So if magamit kag mga tables, charts, or maps then mga images, i-combine na nimo sila so mapadali jud nimo og effective ang pag kuan nimo sa crime, pag determine og asa na siya na ay daghang kuan high rate sa crimes. And that's all. Thank you.
So next we will talk about the types of crime analysis products. Now the following are some general types of crime analysis products. Like general ra ni siya. So next we have crime bulletins. It is a short 1 to 2 page documents that describe a tactical short-term trend or pattern. Now, a crime bulletin, it is a short quick message meaning bubo ra siya used to inform people about recent crime trends, patterns, or specific incidents that might pose an ongoing threat. Like, meaning, kuha na siya kanang up-to-date specific trends, meaning, bag-uhay pa lang siyang nahitabo. Now, its main goal is to share important information quickly para to share information quickly para to prevent further crimes or to ask for public assistance. Now, this can be internal for police or shared with public, especially in community or campus settings to provide timely warnings para magpabalo lang yun siya sa tanan. Now, it can be posted on public or pwede sa police lang ni siya nga data or ilaharang itaguan para makuan lang yun, mahatagan ng mga warnings ang mga tao, like para kung makahatag din sila updates kung unsa lang nabalan about ani para matagaan dayog solusyon. Now, for an example of this is a university police department issues a crime bulletin warning students about recent increase in bicycle thefts on campus. The bulletin might describe the areas where thefts are occurring, suggest security tips like using strong locks, and ask anyone with information to contact the people. This helps the students stay vigilant and take precautions to protect their property. Ani, para makapabalo ka sa public, para napod na sa ilang safety kung magpabalo ka nila kung unsa ang ongoing incidents nga nahitabo. Para updated sila, para maprotektahan nila ang ilahang kaugalingon against mga unnecessary press atong sa example nga kung gihatag like thefts nga pagpangawat og bike, kung mahatag unsay ilahang ang buhaton nga solusyon. Now, memos. Memos are letter-style documents that summarize analysis requests, explain the methods used, and highlight key findings. They often include recommendations for action or further study and usually serve as cover letters for research or special reports. Next is we have memos. Now, memos are letter-style documents that summarize analysis requests, explain the methods used, and highlight key findings. They often include recommendations for action or further study and usually serve as cover letters for research or special reports. Now, memos are detailed reports that summarize an analysis request, explaining the methods used and highlight the key findings. Now, an example of this is a crime analyst writes a memo summarizing a recent spike in burglaries in specific neighborhood, detailing the time of the day they occur, common entry points, and suggesting increased patrols during those times. So, memos, these are summarization. Nag-summarize na lang ni siya sa request, pero although summarize siya, ga-explain sad siya kung unsa ang mga importante. For an example, sa explanation niya akong gihatag, they have they detailed the time of the day they occur, specific neighborhood, common entry points, and suggesting increased patrols during those times. It's because para mas maghatag siya og mas madali ang pagsabot or mas specific ang paghatag sa information rather than magpa daghan pa kayong explanations bisan pag naara jud siya ay mas mubo nga angay nga ihatag para mas madali siyang masabtan.
Okay, the third type of crime analysis products, which is weekly, monthly, quarterly reports and maps. Documents and maps that convey the same information in regular intervals to inform about activity and allow for identifying problems. These products should be consistently formatted to ensure recognizability by customers and allow comparison. So, this means routine reports showing trends in specific time intervals. The purpose of this is monitor activity levels, identify emerging problems. For example, a weekly crime summary showing burglaries increased 10% in District 3. Second example, a monthly map showing where car thieves clusters near shopping centers.
These are the general crime analysis product elements. So it is a crime analysis product typically includes the following elements. Firstly, we have the title, describes the data's nature, geographic scope, and time period. Second, the file path, indicates the document storage location for easy future reference. The third, credits date, list of the creators, their division, and the creation date 4, accountability and follow-up. And the last, the content or the text, tables, graphics, and maps, the main body of the report, which varies by product and purpose.
Analysis of summary. This involves interpreting data and findings to ensure others understand the results correctly, but this section is often left out of crime analysis reports. Analysis of summary is a critical step in crime analysis that involves interpreting the summarized data and findings to provide meaningful insights. It helps contextualize the information, allowing analysts to explain what the data reveals about crime patterns, trends, or issues. This process ensures that the results are understandable and useful for law enforcement officials, the policymakers, guiding decision-making and resource allocation based on clear, comprehensible interpretation. Despite its importance, the analysis of summary is often overlooked or omitted in crime analysis reports. This can happen because reports tend to focus on presenting raw data, maps, and statistical figures without delving into the implications or significance of these findings. However, omitting this interpretative step can limit the report's usefulness, and stakeholders may struggle to understand the relevance or impact of the data without expert analysis providing context. Including analysis of summary enhances the overall value of a crime analysis report by turning data into actionable intelligence. It involves identifying key findings, explaining patterns, highlighting significant trends, and possibly making recommendations for intervention or further investigation. Effective analysis bridges the gap between raw data and strategic decisions, enabling law enforcement agencies to implement targeted crime prevention strategies. Analysis of summary is an essential component that transforms mere data presentation into insightful, strategic information. It ensures that stakeholders understand the importance of the findings within the broader context of crime trends and community safety. Incorporating this interpretative step can significantly improve the effectiveness of crime analysis reports and supports more informed data-driven law enforcement efforts. Disclaimers. This section explains what the data and analysis do not reveal, such as the fact that reports only reflect crimes known to police, not all crimes. It also highlights limitations of using calls for service instead of crime data, like discrepancies in the time and date of the incident. Disclaimers in crime analysis reports serve to clarify the limitations and boundaries of the data and findings presented. They inform readers about what the analysis does not cover or reveal, helping to manage expectations and prevent misinterpretations. For example, crime reports typically reflect only incidents known to the police, which means unreported crimes are not included. This is important because the analysis cannot provide a complete picture of all criminal activity within a community. Additionally, disclaimers often addresses the differences between types of data used in analysis. One common issue is the use of calls for serving data as a proxy for actual crime occurrences. Calls for service represent when someone reports a potential incident to the police, but this does not always correspond exactly with verified crimes. The timing and location recorded for calls may differ from the actual incident details, leading to discrepancies in the data and potentially affecting the accuracy of spatial or temporal analysis. By highlighting these limitations, disclaimers promote transparency in crime analysis. They acknowledge that data sources have inherent flaws and that conclusions drawn must be considered within this context. Recognizing these constraints help users interpret the findings more critically and responsibly, avoiding overconfidence in the data or the assumption it reflects the full reality. In summary, disclaimers are an essential part of crime analysis reports that protect both the analysts and the users of the information. They provide a clear explanations of the boundaries of the data, ensuring that users understand the potential gaps and uncertainties involved. This section contributes to the credibility and ethical use of crime data in law enforcement and policy decisions.
So now we will continue with recommendation. This section provides suggestions for future actions or further analysis based on results of the study. It is optional and may not always be included in a crime analysis product depending on the purpose of the report. Now, this is a section in a crime analysis report that suggests actions or further analysis based on the study's findings. It's like giving tips on what to do next, but it's not always included. For example, after analyzing a series of robberies, a report recommends increasing police patrols in the area during the identified peak hours and installing better lighting in poorly lit areas. So recommendations, as the word suggests, mag-recommend lang yun ni siya. Although, dili ni siya apel kasagaran sa optional rin ni siya, dili kay ni siya kasagaran apel sa mga crime analysis product kaya depending on the purpose of the report. Pero importante gihapon ni siya because this provides suggestions for future actions or further analysis based on the results of the study. Now next is we have map design elements. Now maps are distinct from other crime analysis components because they have unique visual and spatial features. Guidelines for map design help ensure that maps clearly and accurately present geographic information for analysis. So, napakita man ako ganina sa ako ang part sa report, ang GIS. So, para yun adto, we have to design ang maps or crime analysis components para matarong yun para nasa unique visual and special features para ma-accurate and ang map is clearly and accurate nga mag-present sa geographic information for analysis. Now, example is using different colors to represent different types of crimes on a map. Sa lahi-lahing crime, lahi-lahi sad ang imuhang color nga ibutang nga mag-represent ito sa mapa. So, we have theft, blue, murder, red, robbery, orange, yun ana. Dapat lahi-lahi po siya or adding labels to streets and landmarks to make it easier to understand where crimes are occurring or mag-add kag labels sa streets magbutang kag landmarks para mas sayong masabtan kung asa gahitabo ang crime. So in a sense we have to make it unique. We have unique visual and special features para makatabang to ensure that the maps are clearly and accurately present geographic information for analysis.
Title. The title tells what, where, and when the data is about. The title of a crime map should clearly show what kind of data, unsa nga klase nga data nga iyang gi-presenta or it present. For example, murder ba ni, robbery ba ni, and etc. And where it applies or the location or area. And lastly, when the data is collected. Ug kano sa ang data gi-collect or gi-gather. Second, legend. The legend explains the symbols, colors, and meanings used in the map so people can read it correctly. So, legend helps the readers understand of unsay ipasabot sa mga symbols or colors nga naa diha sa map para makabalo or ma-understand nila ang maps categories and analysis easily.
So next is the geocoding rate. So it indicates the percentage of data successfully mapped and only should be noted when some data are missing. Labels should be used sparingly to help others understand the map and emphasize key findings. The scale bar shows the distance units used, providing a reference for measuring real-world distance on the map. Labels should be used in moderation and where appropriate within the map. Labels should orient others to the map as well as highlight analytical results. Scale bar describes the distance units used in the map. So The geocoding rate shows the percentage of data that was successfully mapped. For example, if you have 100 data points but only 90 were plotted on the map, then your geocoding rate is 90%. This is important to note, especially when some data are missing, because it affects the accuracy of the map. So the labels on the map, such as place, names, or crime locations, should be used only when necessary. For instance, you can label only the areas with the highest crime rates to make the map easier to read and highlight key findings. So the scale bar shows the distance units on the map. For example, the scale bar says that 1 centimeter equals 1 kilometer. In real life, it helps you measure the actual distance between two places on the map. So, ang geocoding rate nagpasabot sa porsyento sa data nga malampuson na mapa. Importante kini nga bantayan kung adunay mga kulang o wala na include nga data. Ang mga label sa mapa dapat gamiton lang kung kinahanglan aron mas sayon, sabton o aron ma-emphasize ang mga importante nga detalye. Ang scale bar maupod nagpakita sa sukod sa gilayon, mao kini ang atong basihan kung gusto nato masayran ang tinuod nga distansya sa mapa.
So this is the last topic. North directional indicates the geographic orientation of the map. So this refers to the feature of a map that shows which way is north. It is crucial for helping users orient themselves and understand the spatial relationships depicted on the map. Credits or date. As in the general crime analysis product, this contains the name or the division of the individual who produced the map as well as the date it was created. Remember, these elements are specific to maps, and even though maps should stand on their own, supplemental description and interpretation of the analysis should be included. So, this highlights the importance of including the name of the person or division responsible for creating the map as well as the date of its creation. Such information is vital for accountability, context, and understanding the timeless of data presented in the map. Even though maps are designed to be standalone documents, they benefit from supplementary explanations and interpretations to enhance their effectiveness and clarity. Evaluating the utility of crime analysis and mapping products involves a feedback mechanism, including customer surveys and discussions to assess their relevance and effectiveness. Analysts must continuously review these products in light of departmental focus changes, customer capabilities, criminal activity nature, and advances in information technology. So it emphasizes the need for a feedback mechanism to assess the usefulness and relevance of crime analysis product. This could include various methods such as customer surveys or focus groups to gather input on whether these products meet the needs of their intended audience. Analysts are encouraged to continually review and update crime analysis products based on feedback and changing circumstances. Variations, these could include alterations in department priorities, advancement in customer capabilities, variations in criminal behavior, and developments in information technology. The reference to an ongoing process underlines that crime analysis is adapted and must evolve to remain relevant. So, this underscores the importance of well-crafted maps and crime analysis products that not only presented data effectively but also incorporate user feedback for constant improvement. The dynamic nature of crime and technology necessitates that these tools are continually evaluated and adjusted to serve their intended purpose.
Conclusion. Crime analysis and mapping are indispensable tools for contemporary law enforcement agencies. By systematically analyzing crime data and visualizing patterns through mapping technologies, agencies can gain actionable insights for effective crime prevention. resource allocation, and strategic planning. While challenges such as data quality and privacy concerns exist, the benefits of these practices in enhancing public safety and community well being are undeniable.
And lastly, we come up with three recommendations. First, law enforcement agencies should invest in comprehensive training programs for crime analysts and mappers to ensure proficiency in data analysis techniques and mapping technologies. Second, collaboration between agencies and academic institutions should be encouraged to foster innovation and address emerging challenges in the field. And lastly, additionally, prioritizing data quality, implementing robust privacy safeguards, and engaging with communities are essential for maximizing the effectiveness and ethical integrity of crime analysis and mapping initiatives. And that's all, and thank you. Have a great day ahead, everyone.